Hey everybody, welcome back. We're going to take a tour of this behemoth, the Airvo 2 bag. The idea here was that almost everything that you would need to complete 2 Airvo calls is right here in this bag. And in theory, if you had another bag of sterile water, you could do a third call as long as you got time to clean the Airvo device in between calls and charge the battery if needed. So we'll start at the top. Very important to have this, and I wonder if I should be tagging this as well. Traditionally we haven't. Is this red tube? It's the tube that we need to clean the device. So you plug this into the top, put this on one end, you plug it with the other end, and then you turn it on. It should recognize what's going on and start the cleaning process, which takes about an hour. The problem that we've had with this is twofold. One, this isn't covered and these end up getting broken, and when that happens, it's not much use. Sometimes it still works okay, other times it does not. Something to keep in mind, each one of these tubes costs about $250 to $300. So if you can, please take care. If you have any ideas for how to take care of this a little bit better, either storing it in the little black bag that the Airvo goes in, or I don't know, having some sort of cover in it, I am all ears. We've been pretty good lately. We haven't broken anything, but I think I just jinxed myself. The other thing to keep in mind is make sure that this plug stays with it. The tube will not activate the cleaning process unless you have this plug in, so you're going to need both of those intact. We'll go to the main compartment. Set this out. All right, so up top, get it a little closer so you can see it. Up top is the clamping mechanism. So this clamps to the IV pole, and then you can put the tray inside here. I know some of you just kind of keep it on. I suppose that's fine as long as there's room in here. It's not going to hurt the Airvo device that's inside. I keep it up here just because it's the profile is a little bit better, and if it's up there, then it's not down here and it's not going to hurt the device. Over here is oxygen tubing. So I keep 2 or 3 in here, and that's what I'm going to have the VITs do when they start restocking these. If you are in a pinch, you can take a nasal cannula, cut off the cannula part, and stick it onto the Christmas tree of either the regulator or the Airvo. It works just fine. I've done it a couple times already. Down here is some cleaning stuff. This is just from when we originally got the Airvos. I didn't know if we were going to end up using these, so they went down there. I think all of that has been down there forever. Nobody's touched it, so I wouldn't worry about that. And the VATs aren't going to do much with it. In the back here is the tray. So as long as this little bolt, well, I'll follow my own advice here. As long as this little bolt stays with the tray, then we're good. It'll still work just fine. But if you hit a big bump and this kind of comes out of the clamp, then it can actually come out and the bolt prevents it from doing that. So it's nice to have that with. And then in the bag, we've got the actual Airvo device. And the only thing that really needs to go in here is the Airvo. Keep in mind that there are a couple of pieces that can come off. We've had to replace this 1 or 2 times along with the tube. So I don't know if you've been one of those unlucky few that's encountered an Airvo like this. If worst comes to worst, if this is missing, you can take this tube off, plug the oxygen right into there. It works just fine. So left pocket, I've moved the high flow regulator over to this side pocket just because it was a little awkward keeping it in here. And since we have the pediatric / adult circuits now, we can keep fewer of them. So this is over here. They're may be a better way to keep this in here as far as how it's oriented. I try to keep this screwed down all the way and the Christmas tree up, just so it's not getting pressed up against anything. And as long as this tubing isn't getting kinked in any place, then we're good to go. And that's what I'll instruct for the VITs as well. So over here is the first circuit. This is adult and pediatric, so it'll work on both. And for that reason, we only keep 3 now instead of the 4. It used to be that we had 2 adults and 2 pediatric. So in the back here, we've got 2 more, that's it. So you should be able to do 3 if you can get yourself another sterile water bag. In this middle front pocket is the sterile water. We used to have liter bags of the sterile water in just one of them. So what we did instead was we ordered 500 ml bags, and we're keeping 2 in here so we can actually do 2 in a row. Because some of you, including myself, just like to hook up our own sterile water instead of switching it over. If you need to do a 3rd one, however, you're just gonna have to grab it from the hospital, or if you can grab another one from the garage. Front pocket. And actually the one thing that we don't use that much is the actual cannulas. Most of the time, at least in my experience, we can take the ones that the hospital uses, especially if it's OptiFlow brand, then it'll work with the Airvo. So what we keep in here is 2 of the infants, the purple ones, 2 of the pediatric, and then we keep a small, medium, and large for the adults. So here's small, large, medium. And recently I've ordered and put these tracheostomy connections in here. There have been a few instances where we have run into facilities wanting their tracheostomy patients on humidified high flow oxygen, and this has come in handy quite a few times. You can literally just put it right on the trach. In some cases it hasn't fit, and what I think the provider found was that if you put the end title on, then it's actually a pretty good adapter. So if this doesn't fit directly onto the tracheostomy, you can try the end title, invasive end title, and that should work. So that's the Airvo bag. It's pretty simple. As long as we keep things safe, then we should be good to go. And now with the new process of you guys grabbing your equipment at the beginning of the shift and putting it back at the end, the VITs are now stocking this bag. So if you use it on a shift, please put it on the unsealed shelf, and the VITs will get to it and put it back in the narcotics room on the critical care shelf. The only thing to remember, however, is that if you use the Airvo, try and put it in a place that it can be found if you're still cleaning it by the time your shift ends. And ideally, you'd start the cleaning process immediately after the call so you can be ready for another one. And that way it only takes an hour if it pops up again, or if you get off and the next crew that's coming on needs it, they can just grab it from you, it's all ready to go. Or if you need to put it on the unsealed shelf, you can put everything back inside. The VITs know that everything's there, they can check and then get it all sealed up, back on the critical care shelf, ready for the next one. If you guys have questions about that, or if you have ideas, please let me know. I am all ears. Thanks.